So if we love Jesus and we love the gospel, why is it that evangelism strikes fear into our hearts? So why is it that as Christians we can talk about how much we love the gospel and how much we love Jesus, but when it comes to sharing the gospel with others, to telling them about Jesus, it typically strikes fear into our hearts, so much so that we rarely ever do it. Now, to be clear, I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm right there too. And I don't share the gospel near as often as I would like to. Every now and then I meet someone, who's always sharing the gospel. Everywhere they go, they're sharing the gospel with people at the grocery store, at the gym, people on the street, their neighbors, and I'm always in awe of those people. And I think to myself, wow, they're so amazing. They're always sharing the gospel. But most of us are not like that. And so why is that? And I think the biggest reason is we're afraid. There's a lot of reasons why we're afraid, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is fear. I think that the vast majority of Christians really do love the gospel. I think they really do love Jesus. And so why don't they share the gospel? Why don't they evangelize? Well, I think the biggest reason is because of fear. Now, we can hem and haw all day long about how bad it is that we don't do what we know we're supposed to do. And I could preach sermons to myself and to you all day long about all of the oughts that I'm supposed to do as a Christian that I'm not doing nearly as well as I want. But I think that Jesus is much less interested in us feeling guilty about not evangelizing than he is in us finding a way to make it happen. Because I think that most Christians do love Jesus. Most Christians do love the gospel. And so if we're not evangelizing, the reason is not that we have some big existential crisis that, well, maybe we don't love Jesus, or maybe we're just too captivated by fear. Maybe what we should do is problem solve and say, okay, well, we love Jesus, we love the gospel, we're not evangelizing, so how can we make that change? How can we make a difference? And that's what this platform that we're designing and developing and hoping to launch in 2020 is all about. It's all about lowering that fear factor for most Christians so that the average Christian can share the gospel. My goal is that a Christian who uses this tool will go from sharing their faith maybe once every 4 to 5 years with a non-believer to sharing their faith once to 3 times a year. That's my goal. Because I think that most of us want to do it. We're just too afraid. Now, there are a lot of reasons why we're afraid. And in the next few videos, we're going to talk about some of those reasons. The first one is privacy. Americans, at least, have such a high value of privacy that we don't like to talk about things where we might disagree with another person, a friend, a family member, anything that's sensitive or that might cause offense to someone that we care about. As Americans, our value of privacy kicks in and we say, well, I don't want to talk about things that are going to hurt someone or might cause offense. And so that's the first reason why I think we have so much anxiety and fear about evangelism. So next week, we're going to talk about that. But I want you guys to know that I think that we don't have to be held captive by fear when it comes to evangelism. That I believe the average Christian can regularly share their faith with non-believers around them. The question is, how can we design tools and resources to equip us and to motivate us to do it? And that's what To Live is all about. And to be sure, it's not going to be perfect, and it's not the only answer. There are lots of things that we can do to try to get at the reasons why we're not evangelizing. But I think it's a good start. And even for us, when we launch it, there's going to be things I wish we could have done or things that could be done better. So it's going to be a continual process of making it better. But I say, let's at least start somewhere. Because if I can start with a few thousand people who start sharing the gospel regularly with this platform 1 to 3 times a year, that's a lot of times that people are hearing the gospel who I think otherwise might not have. It's a lot of Christians who will get to participate in evangelism who might say, I've always wanted to do it, but I've never been able able to. I've never felt confident. I've never felt comfortable. And now they're doing it. And so that's what To Live is all about, helping address that fear factor so that we as Christians can confidently share the gospel with those that we love. Hope you guys are well. Hope you have a great day. Look forward to sharing with you next week about that first reason, privacy, and how this To Live series seeks to deal with some of those issues. Until then, take care and God bless.